I'm going to have you to stay with us for the moment. I want to take our viewers through the families right now who are currently in immense pain and grief. Families are in pain. They're struggling for answers at this point. At Ahmedabad Civil Hospital, the corridors were filled with silence that were broken only by cries of grief. The fire was so intense on that plane. Most bodies we hear are currently unrecognizable. Out of the 240 bodies recovered, only one has been identified so far. Doctors have collected over 205 DNA samples, but the reports could take up to 72 hours. In fact, one woman was heard crying. She says, "How do I believe he's gone unless I see him?" Another, we hear, family member who asked, what if they mix up the bodies? For families, this weight is unbearable. Many of them have flown in from UK, Canada, Portugal, desperate for answers to find their loved ones' mortal remains. They had just said goodbye at the airport and now they're giving DNA tests to identify their loved ones. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the official death count will only be declared after DNA confirmation. Inside the hospital, we hear about 190 relatives have already submitted their DNA samples. Each match takes time. Each minute, of course, for the families now feeling endless. They were fathers who were flying out to reunite with their sons, newlyweds who were heading for their honeymoon, a retired teacher who finally took that dream vacation. Every story now frozen in time. Many families had just about said goodbye to their loved ones. And just when they were on their way back, after dropping off their loved ones at the airport, they got phone calls saying the plane had crashed. Well, this is highly tragic. The visuals that you're seeing on our screens here are of those people who died in that plane crash. 241 of them, a big number. We hear this is the biggest tragedy that India has seen in decades. In fact, 3 officials from the National Disaster Response Force have confirmed the flight data recorder has been found, the black box has been recovered. So at least some kind of answers the family could get now of how and why their loved ones died. How did the plane crash? That could give hopefully some kind of closure to them. You know, in this black box we hear could hold very crucial answers of the final moments of the flight. For now, families have no answers at all. In fact, they're not even being told whether their loved ones have survived or not. Just one answer, you'll have to wait for DNA tests. In fact, the questions are so many, the family members do not know who to ask because none of the officials are giving them responses, and fairly so because you just don't know. Most of the bodies we hear are fully charred, unrecognizable. DNA tests are going to take time. What we saw was a reunion of family members, eventually a farewell, then coming down to a crash, ripping apart families, halting all their dreams, leaving this nation currently in mourning. I'm going to take you through some of the accounts of family members who are desperately waiting to get something of their loved ones.
मैं यहाँ बीजे मेडिकल की जो यूजी में से वहाँ पे मैं, मेरी मम्मी, मेरी वाइफ सब लोग यहाँ काम करते हैं। यहाँ से हम बीजे मेडिकल के यूजी स्टूडेंट हैं, वो यहाँ खाना खाने आते हैं और हम जो है सीनियर डॉक्टर रेसिडेंट का टिफ़िन यहाँ से भर के सिविल में ले जाते हैं। हम 1 बजे यहाँ से टिफ़िन भर के सिविल में गए और 1:30 बजे के बाद ये हादसा हुआ है। उसमें मम्मी और मेरी लड़की 2 साल की, वो दोनों यहाँ अंदर ही रह गए। बाकी सब जो खाना बनाने वाली मासी ऊपर नीचे करीबन 20-25 मासियाँ होगी, वो सब निकल गए हैं। वो बाकी सबों का कॉल आ चुका है। खाली मेरी मम्मी और मेरी 2 साल की लड़की नहीं मिले हैं अभी तक। कल पूरा दिन सिविल में ढूंढते रहे, सब जगह देख लिया, वार्ड में कहीं पे नहीं है।
यार इंडिया हो या जो भी, यार एयरलाइन से कोई आदमी हमारे घर पे कोई एक आदमी भी नहीं आया और रिपोर्ट भी नहीं किया है। वो तो मेरा एक बेटा दिल्ली में है, सर वो काम पे जरूरत हो जाएंगे DNA, तब तो इनके दीदी तो बुला के उसके साथ जाने के लिए अभी दिल्ली पहुंचने के बाद फिर अहमदाबाद जाना है। तो जो भी हो सरकार के तरफ से या मीडिया के तरफ से भी हो, घर में कोई आकर पूछा नहीं, कोई आकर कोई जानकारी लिया नहीं, उस भी तरीका उसका नहीं है और एक शब्द भी हमारे घर पे सुनाई नहीं।
डॉक्टरों का इतना इतना कुछ किया है आज हमारे लिए, इतना करूँ कि बस मेरे भतीजे और मेरे मम्मी को मिला दो।
मैं मेस में काम करती हूँ। बहुत सारा भड़ाका हुआ, हम सब दौड़ के नीचे भागे, बस अपनी अपनी जान बचा के भागे, कुछ पता ही नहीं चला।
कितने लोग लंदन के लिए उड़ रहे थे, कितने बच्चे थे उसमें। जब ये कैसे हादसा हुआ, इसकी पूरी जांच होनी चाहिए। एयर इंडिया को इसका जवाब देना चाहिए, उसके इंजीनियर को जवाब देना चाहिए, उसके जितने भी कर्मचारी है ये फ्लाइट को उड़ने कैसा दिए।
वो प्लेन क्या इधर से आया तो वो मालूम हुआ कि हमको ऐसा कि लाइट आई तो लाइट बॉम्ब फैलाते हुआ ऐसा, और फिर से हुआ ना, जब बोला तो ये तो प्लेन पड़ा तो हम तो जल्दी जल्दी भाग के आए।
जब हम रोटी बना रहे ना तब वो ऊपर से प्लेन ऐसा गिर गया नीचे और बहुत हादसा हुआ था, बहुत यानी बहुत। सिलेंडर हमने लगा कि सिलेंडर फटा है तो पीछे से आगे ऐसी भभूक गई ना, तो मेरे पीछे यहाँ थोड़ा जल गई हूँ, तो मगर अपनी जान बचाने के लिए हम है ना कुछ भी लिया नहीं, सब ऊपर छोड़ के नीचे उतर गए हम।
All right, well, the family members now are really hoping for the DNA test to come about as soon as possible, but very tragic stories that are coming to light. Many of these stories that are just about unfolding. Let me bring in Group Captain Jha. Sir, what if a family member is adopted or does not have a family? Then how do you ascertain with DNA test here?
Well, Nabila, DNA test is the most authentic and reliable in the present times of the medical science. And I slightly disagree with you in your opening remark when you had said that no one knows whose body they are taking. No, there is no question. If there is a near and dear, if it is on his blood relation, there will be absolutely no doubt that the body that they will be taking is their own near and dear. Secondly,
Members' apprehension only, it's not mine.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
Another thing that, within the given situation, this Ahmedabad part of the area where all these has happened. Now that's a medical college which has taken most of the loads, and Ahmedabad has got many of the labs which is equipped with the DNA testing. So it will be done there. It all will be handled there. And very fact that the reports are coming within 24 hours is of that massive scale of the sampling is by itself it is a achievement. So let's give this feeling to all passengers or their families that we are dealing with a very large situation and the administration is doing almost its best that can be done today. That having said, look, the DNA is the only hope. Now people said that they have not received telephone call. Me and you, when we book our ticket, which telephone number we give to the airliner at the time of booking is the one which is the contact. Now, if that passenger happens to be giving his own number, then there will be no one receiving a call on that number. The family may not know, the other people who are there, they may not know whom they are calling. So all these are the possibilities that can happen. People have got the near and dear have got the reasons to be aggrieved. Only those people will know the type of pain who have lost their near and dear. That is the type of pain that you feel. But here there is an administration, there is a very big crowd, and there is a situation which is absolutely new. Yesterday it has happened. And today we are saying that 6 bodies were already handed over to the relatives who could match with that. So things have started moving. All this takes very long time. I know in one of the aircraft accident, what happened long back, it was almost about 24 days, 25 days when the samplings report had not come. So all those things happened. So we are dealing with a situation here fairly reasonably at quick pace. It is taking place. So let's give that confidence to all near and dear. And if we can help, of course, I'm far away from Ahmedabad, but those who are in the Ahmedabad, if they can help out the situation, there's a need for additional hands. Even though administration has
Yeah,
given the
yeah.
telephone contact number, people are contacting. If there
There
are too
have been
many
a lot
calls
of
coming
civil
at the
groups I
same
hear
time,
who have extended a helping hand. Captain Chinta, in
absolutely,
your view,
absolutely.
identifying the bodies at this point has become a task. Families have been asked to wait a few days until DNA tests are out. The most excruciating period for the family to know that right now are unable to identify their loved ones. They've got to wait for DNA tests to match. The worst possible experience for a family.
Absolutely, it's a horrifying time for the near and dear to wait to be identified. Their departed close family members, but the only way, like Group Captain Jha said, is to wait for the DNA results, which is probably the only conclusive way to identify each and every body. Uh, there are ways and means to contact the family for those who have not come forward yet. In all probability, there would be the DNA sample, which is still pending, would be foreign nationals whose families will have to come to India and then give their DNA sample. So those are probably the delays. But as news has come in, almost all the Indian passengers have given their DNA samples for identification of the bodies. It will take due course of time. It's a process which needs to go through, no matter how long it takes. Might take 24 hours, might take 48 hours, but it is the only way forward. My heart goes out for each and every member of family who has to sit and wait. It's probably the most horrifying moments for each of them. And while we say this, I would like to place it on record. We need to salute each and every aviation personnel on that particular day after the crash who's gone back into the air, especially those who took off from Ahmedabad and landed in Ahmedabad on that day. We need to salute them. In the Air Force, whenever there was a crash, the very next day, the entire squadron would go up in the air as a vote of confidence on that machine and the process and the engineers and the whole system. Here, they did not have that luxury. They lost their colleagues. They lost their, people who worked with them probably, flew with them in the same aircraft. But those crew who flew on that day and still fly, it's a salute to the aviation industry and all the people, whether on ground personnel, airport staff, everyone. This is absolute uh, resilience, and the resolve of each and every one of them has to be saluted by us.
Chinta, thank you very much. I also thank Squadron Deepthi for joining us and Group Captain Jha. Really appreciate you taking your time out and giving us this very deep insight.